and welcome back to my channel, Knits by Catherine. I'm Catherine. This is my co-host Topaz, and today we're going to talk all things fiber arts. So first things first, I am wearing a JBC Essentials hat by Brittany Dixon. It is a free pattern. There is a YouTube tutorial available, and also a written pattern, I believe downloadable on Ravelry. So I'll have that linked in the description. And let's jump into some knitting projects, shall we? My first finished object I have to show you is another JBC Essentials hat. This one is in blue. It's Lion Brand's Basic Stitch in the shade Royal Blue. My nephew saw me wearing this red hat and he wanted one for himself in blue. And so how could I resist? He asked me for it, and it's such a simple hat. It's just 2x2 rib, and you knit a nice long tube, as you can see, and then you do the decreases in the crown. So super simple, great beginner project. Like I said, it's a free pattern with a tutorial on YouTube, so super accessible. And it uses like one skein of yarn, so it's a great beginner project. Yeah. So the second finished object I have to show you guys are the Chantal mittens by Mareka Knits. They're these really pretty textured, excuse me. I had a secondary assistant join my lap. She's apparently very interested in these mittens. They're really gorgeous textured mittens. I love the increased detail here. Like, I just think that looks so clean and so pretty. And then the palm is completely continuous. You can see there's no real sign of the increases on the thumb area. Super pretty. And it's got this rolled hem detail at the bottom. Only thing about these mittens that I found so far is I thought that the section down here from like wrist to forearm, being so long, I was like, that's gonna be so nice because I won't get snow up my sleeve, right? But anytime I have worn these mittens and I've had to take them off to do something, be it like use my phone or credit card or whatever, I find it so difficult to stuff them back up into my coat sleeve. So that is a downside on these, but they're very cute. I knit them up in Sandnes Garn Pure Gynt, and I believe it was the shade 6324. I'll have all the yarns and colors in the description below, so you can easily find them. But yeah, those are my Chantal mittens. The final finished object I have for you is my step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. It's a top-down raglan sweater, and I knit this up in Drops Nepal in the shade Deep Ocean. So it's this really pretty deep blue color. 1x1 rib detailing on the neckline and the cuffs. I will say I modified this slightly because the pattern had the option for either a funnel neck or a like folded down collar. I did the funnel neck, but I wanted more of a mock neck look, so I did about 2 centimeters less than what was called for in the ribbing. I will also note that this definitely needs some elastic because I have worn this like once and is so stretched out at the neck already. It doesn't quite sit as a mock neck. It tends to fall down and like stretch out. So she needs some elastic. I'll have to learn how to do that. Otherwise, she looks pretty good. I mean, I feel like my raglan is pretty clean for my first sweater. I feel like that looks so nice in this lighting, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll put like a picture of me wearing it to the side so you can kind of see it on, see what it looks like. I did make some mistakes with this sweater, so I went up a needle size to reach gauge, but I didn't do the math properly, which is going to be a recurring theme in this podcast, I've realized, because I discussed math problems when I brought up the sweater last time. But I went up a gauge size for the main color, for the main needle size that was stockinette for the body, and then there was a secondary smaller needle size for the ribbed cuffs, and I didn't math correctly. So I used the wrong size, too big of a size for the cuffs, which you can kind of see, like, it's not very cinched in. But in all honesty, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's definitely still wearable. And for a first sweater, I knew I was going to make mistakes. I'm glad it was something like that rather than, you know, something big or like my raglan stitches being quite messy. So I'm quite pleased with this. Very nice to have my first sweater under my belt. And I'm excited to get a lot of wear out of it. Moving on to my works in progress, I got a little bit of cast-on-itis over the past couple weeks. Normally I'm a pretty monogamous knitter. I'll have like 1 to 2 projects on my needles, like maybe 1 knitting project, 1 crochet project, something like that, but went a little bit crazy. I say that, and meanwhile somebody else would be like, oh, you still have nothing compared to me. But I got a little bit of cast-on-itis, so I cast on this weekend hat by Petite Knit, just your basic 1x1 ribbed beanie. Now in her pattern, she had every so many centimeters you would do double knitting to help the brim fold. But I saw a lot of people saying that they omitted that because the double knitting was quite obvious. So I did go ahead and omit that, and I'm just knitting basically a tube until I get to the ribbing. And then the yarn is actually from a local hand dyer slash local yarn store called Chicken Knits. I don't know if you can see the print on that is pretty rough, but I'll link the shop in the description because you can shop online for them. And this is their Yak Silk DK in deep pink. And I actually picked up this yarn very specifically because when I went to Joann Fabrics to get the blue yarn for my nephew's hat, I came across this really adorable enamel pin. It says The Hermit, and it's got this girl like crocheting. Sorry, my hands are like terribly shaky. But it's so cute, and I thought that it would just look really adorable on like the brim of a beanie, right? But I wanted something that like fit the tarot vibes, so I wanted like a mystical purpley kind of color, and I think this just fits quite well. I'll try and put like a picture in because I took a nice picture of like the enamel pin in front of the yarn, and I think it will show the color a little bit better. But that is my weekend hat. So my next project I have to show you is my Lavender in Bloom socks by Charlotte Stone. These are knit top down with a heel flap and gusset using a partridge heel. And as you can see, I have finished my heel flap. Wow, my finger is really in the way. I have finished my heel flap and my gusset, and now I am working on the foot. The cuff is all color work. These are my first color work socks and my first like big color work project. As you can see in the back, I did make a mistake, but I actually knit these socks to this point previously in a size smaller, and then I went to try them on, and because I was catching my floats so much, because I didn't realize you don't need to catch your floats so often with color work this small, I ended up not being able to fit my foot through them. So I had to rip out like almost a complete sock and then re-knit it. So any mistakes that are in the sock, I'm just like, they're meant to be there. They are my first pair of colorwork socks. It is what it is. I'm not going crazy to like go back and fix mistakes at this point. But yeah, they're pretty cute. I am getting a little bored with just doing pure stockinette. There is some color work just before the toe. Maybe I'll put a picture of like a pair of the finished socks there so you can see. There's a bit of color work before the toe, but right now I'm just in stockinette land and getting a little bit bored, which does not bode well for the second sock. I have a feeling I'm going to get hit with second sock syndrome pretty hard on these, especially when I have so many other projects that I can be working on. But for now, this is where I'm at, and I think they look quite cute. Like I said, the contrast is quite good. I feel like you can really see all the work that I've put into these, so I'm pleased with them. So I had some technical difficulties, and then I fixed them, and then I came back, and I don't think I hit record. So I am going to talk about this sweater for the third time, and hopefully this records properly. This is the sweater number 39 by Daisy and Peace. It is a crochet project, and it's this really gorgeous texture, a mix of bead stitches and half double crochets, so it's kind of like ribbed, so it's stretchy, but those bead stitches like really elevate it. So I've got the sleeve. It's a nice big balloon sleeve. I don't know why I showed it to you like that. It wasn't very easy to see, but nice big balloon sleeve. And I've got both of those done. And then I have, because this is a seamed project, I've got the front and back panels, which I'll hold one of them up for you now. You can see the ribbed cuff on the button, not the cuff, the hem. I don't know. Whatever you would call this section. My brain is dying. But really gorgeous texture. The front panel is just about the same as the back panel. It's just this neckline shaping here is a little bit higher on the back. So really all I have to do for this project to finish it up is seam everything together and then add the neckline ribbing. That's the word I was looking for earlier, ribbing. All I have to do is add the neckline ribbing. This is a gift knit from my mom, and she is visiting probably before I will film next. So I will likely have this finished, and then by next podcast I'll just show some pictures instead of like actually holding up the garment, because I won't have it. It'll be with its intended owner. But I'm very excited to give this to her. I had a lot of trouble acquiring the yarn because I was going to use Paintbox Simply DK, and I accidentally ordered Paintbox Simply Erin because of course my ADHD brain didn't check the facts before she hit order. Now I just have a bunch of purple Erin weight yarn in my stash that I have to figure out what to do with. And then this color was out of stock in Paintbox Simply DK, so I found it in the, I don't know if I mentioned the yarn, the Bernat Softy Baby in Lavender. But I bought some off of Joann's and it was being clearanced. So I thought the color was discontinued. So then it was doing like this roundabout thing where I was paying too much to get it off of Amazon. And then of course, like a week ago, I was in Joann's and I see that the yarn is in stock there. It's not discontinued. So it was a whole thing. This was supposed to be done like much earlier so she could enjoy it much longer. But it's getting done when it's getting done. The final finished object I have to show you, Onyx, by the way, is at the corner of the camera. My apologies if you see a fuzzy little ear, but it's a pretty cute fuzzy ear, so, you know, at least her brother's being well behaved. The next project I have to show you is my Nord Pullover by Han Rimmon. I was really inspired by one of the sisters from Those Twins Who Knit. She had made this, and she showed it off in her Everything I Knit in 2024 video. I've been really wanting to make the porcelain sweater by Lee Knits, but I knew I needed to kind of like ease my way into doing a color work project, especially one as big as a sweater. And I saw this, I just thought it would be so perfect because it's color work stripes, just like the porcelain sweater, but on a much like simpler scale because you're just doing black and white back and forth to create this like checkerboarded look. For the stripes, and then it's got this nice detailing of using black for the cast on and then continuing with the marzipan color. It's bottom up, as you can tell, in this twisted rib, and then the yarns that I'm using is Drops Flora and Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk. I'll put the color numbers in the description, but it's just the black and like marzipan color for both. The twisted rib took me absolutely forever. I was so frustrated because this is my first time doing a bottom-up sweater, and it is a Italian cast on. And every time I do an Italian cast on, it gets crazy twisted. And then I was working with a new circular needle, so the cord was all twisted up and kind of like bent in that curled shape. So I accidentally joined this in the round and knit like half of it, and then laid it out and realized that I screwed up and I joined it twisted and I had to rip the entire thing out, which was incredibly frustrating, especially because I've not done twisted rib before. So the whole time I was being like very, very focused in on like, make sure you knit through the back loop so you don't screw up. So I had spent so much meticulous time, and then I had to rip it all out and start all over again. So it felt like it took forever, but I am finally done into the body, and I've got my 2 stripes, and I think it's looking really cute. I think this is going to be a great staple in my closet. I think it's also going to be a great learning experience because, like I said, this is my first bottom-up sweater, but it is also the first time I'm working with black yarn. It is also the first time I am holding a lace weight yarn with another yarn. First time doing twisted rib, lots of firsts. But I think she's looking really cute so far, and I'm very excited to have this finished object in my wardrobe. So that is the last thing I have to show you guys this week. A lot shorter, I think, than last week. I think last week ran a little bit long. It was also my first podcast, and I was really awkward. So formal apologies for being incredibly awkward in front of camera last time. Thank you for those who stuck around and have come back despite my awkwardness. Hopefully I'm a little bit more natural on camera this go around. But yeah, like I said, if you want to see my make 9 in more detail, I would be happy to make a video on that, so let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about my projects, or if you want to share what you're working on, please do. I'd love to hear from you guys. It's been a really fun experience, like kind of coming into the knitting community, having previously like been kind of in the crochet community, not too much, but it's been really nice to kind of like come and join, say hi, be part of the group. I'm rambling because I don't know how to close this out. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. And oh, if you liked the video, please give it a like. If you want to see more from me and you want to see these projects again, want to know what I'm up to in my crafting, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if you want to follow me on Instagram to get more updates on what I'm working on, you can do that. I am Knit by Catherine on Instagram. I will put that in the description. All the yarns, all the patterns, all that jazz should be in the description as well for anybody who needs it. And yeah, happy crafting. Bye.